Welcome to the 2017 SleeperWire Fantasy Awards presentation. I'm your MC for this evening's event, Producer Steve, and tonight we are very fortunate to have in attendance distinguished gentlemen from all over SleeperWire. I've got Professor Chris, Prophet Hussein. Oh, say that again.
You could not wait.
I thought you were going to pause.
I'm excited.
Leave this part in the show.
Not having any shows done.
We do this every year, and you guys get dressed up nice, except for Dirty Jobs. You look like you just rolled out of bed. Prophet, who's Professor Chris, are here. They got here early, been taking advantage of the buffet in the bar.
Oh,
so,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be interesting. And Dirty Jobs is here as well, so I was trying to...
So eat while you can.
I was trying to have some decorum and some pomp and circumstance, but this is what I get with these three. So, gentlemen, thank you all for being here for the awards show tonight. In this special awards show, we will spotlight and recognize outstanding and exceptional performance in the fantasy football season. We're going to recognize our missed calls with humility, and we are going to award the best, worst, and deepest sleeping players the accolades they've earned this year. Let's start with a very special award unique to SleeperWire, Sleeper of the Year. The Sleeper of the Year. This award is special to us here at SleeperWire because we pride ourselves on calling the sleepers before anyone else. These are the names you heard us mention preseason or early season before they were rostered on many teams, and these men performed admirably for your team. I'm going to allow Professor Chris, to announce the nominations now and the winner of Sleeper of the Year.
And the nominations for Sleeper of the Year are Alvin Kamara, Adam Thielen, and Jack Doyle.
Some sexy names there.
Yes, they are. Who did you vote for, Hus?
I voted for Alvin Kamara. I mean, he wasn't on many people's... I mean, he was on a few people's radars, but no one thought he'd finish a 1.
No, certainly not. What about you, Mike?
Yes. Same here. I actually voted for Kamara in this because, I mean, man, that guy was just such a devastating beast for your lineup the whole entire season. You loved grabbing him if you listened, and you grabbed him off the waiver wire. So, to me, he outdid everybody. You kind of had a fade out with Adam Thielen. And so, yeah, Kamara all the way.
Yeah, I don't really know how you can argue with that much. If we're just looking purely at just draft spot. I mean, he was drafted in the 13th round in PPR leagues, whereas Doyle was in the 12th and Thielen was in the 9th.
Yeah, and he went undrafted in some leagues. I mean, if you're in a highly competitive league, yeah, he was drafted, but, I mean, how many people actually held on to him with the AP Ingram, conundrum there?
Right,
I actually did find him
on a lot of waiver wires.
Yeah, I found him on 1 in one of my 12 leagues, but only on 1.
Yeah, I mean, huge value. That guy's got to be the winner.
Yeah, I mean, 13th round, finishes the number 4 overall scorer.
That's just sick. And even if you played into week 17, I think he still gave you like 30 points or something like that.
Yeah, 30 points. Yeah, I mean, he the only quarterback he didn't outperform was Russell Wilson.
The quarterback?
Yeah, Kamara, the only quarterback he didn't outperform.
Like, what are we talking about here? I'm just like, yeah. Wow, that is impressive. Wow, yep. So he outperformed quarterbacks.
Yes.
That's insane. Yeah. And that's usually just 1 or 2 guys that happens. And it was just DJ last year, I think?
Yes, it was DJ last year. Yep. Oh, so anyways, I guess we can get to the winner of Sleeper of the Year, which is Alvin Kamara. And we want to give a special shout-out to Dave Richard, who called him in the preseason as well back in March when we had him and Sean Merriman on the show. Hus, you were there for that one.
Yeah, it was a great show. It
was a good one.
All right, your winner, Sleeper of the Year, Alvin Kamara. The next category is Overperformer of the Year. There are players we know will lead our team. There are players we suspect will disappoint. And then there are players who exceed expectations. This award goes to those men who surprised us all and became instrumental to not only their team's success, but fantasy teams as well. I'm going to allow Prophet Hussein to announce the nominees and winner of Overperformer of the Year.
The nominees for Overperformer of the Year: Marvin Jones, Alex Smith, Devontae Adams.
Are you a robot?
I'm one of the guys from the show. Come on, let me do my thing.
He's being impartial.
All right, what do we got to say about these guys before I announce the winner? Marvin Jones, Alex Smith, Devontae Adams. Wow.
2 of those guys can do it again. 1 of them can't.
Who do you believe in? I already know the answer to this, but I
believe in Devontae Adams.
Right. And
Marvin Jones every third game, maybe.
Right. And Alex Smith.
Alex Smith,
depending on where he falls, or no matter where he goes, he's just not going to be that guy.
He is not going to finish as a top 5 quarterback like he did this season. I don't even know if he's still going to be in Kansas City. I think they're going to want to give Mahomes a shot, maybe get out of Alex Smith's contract, trade him away.
What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, he had such a great year that I can he had my vote as far as this went because you didn't have these expectations of what he laid down. But as far as next year, I really like Marvin Jones' future, and I like Devontae Adams' future. Alex Smith's future is not so good. I'm thinking that's going to be quite foggy, in fact.
Yeah, and, given these nominees and given, the futures of these guys, we know Devontae Adams was locked up into a, 4-year, he's locked up with Green Bay. Marvin Jones, he was, in the second-year offense, his third year into this offense. He should just, who knows, even be better next year. Alex Smith is going to be our winner because, yes, no one saw this coming. Congratulations. That was on many people's fantasy teams, got them to the finals. And, yeah, he was pretty steady at it. He ended up, number 4?
Yeah, number 4.
Yeah, pretty sweet for a guy you plucked off waivers.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody
didn't draft him.
No, outside of a 2-quarterback league as your third quarterback.
Yeah, no one drafted Alex Smith unless it was a quarterback league. 2-3, definitely not.
All right, winner of the year, overperformer of the year, rather, is Alex Smith. All right, moving on to the next Sleepy Award, we've got the biggest disappointment. The hype train is a wild ride. It's like a 300-mile-per-hour ride to destinations unknown. And oftentimes when you get on, the last stop is disappointment. These players disappointed us this year. Let's discuss the unfortunate nominees. No joke, no pun intended. Dirty Jobs Mike, I'd like you to announce the nominees and winner of the biggest disappointment.
I have a tough time thinking that there's no pun intended there, but the nominees for this year is DeMarco Murray, Julio Jones, Amari Cooper, Young Ho Koo, and Lamar Miller. And
Young Wei Koo.
Young Wei Koo. Young Ho Koo.
Did you guys see that meme out there? My old chick is nice, but my young hoe cool.
That's pretty funny.
So all these guys seem to disappoint. What do you guys think? I mean, Lamar Miller, I feel like he had a pretty decent year overall. I mean, not as good as everybody expected, but I think if you kept Deshaun Watson out there, I bet Lamar Miller has a better time.
Oh yeah. And I think he still was okay. I don't know if I could put him in this category, but, obviously one of our members decided to put him in here just because he was still able to get you. He didn't hurt you other than in the finals, which at that point you weren't using him. No one advised you from SleeperWire to use Lamar Miller towards the end of the season. But he was pretty good towards, in the season, and I like him next year, obviously, with the quarterback coming back. Julio the same. He was still a 1. Cooper was terrible, and DeMarco Murray was terrible too.
Well, see, I don't think Lamar Miller belongs here at all, and the main reason for that is that he finished the season. I'm looking at PPR scoring leaders.
Right?
He was an RB2. He was the RB16.
Yeah,
his average draft position was RB18.
Yeah.
So Lamar Miller outperformed where he was drafted.
Right.
But he doesn't feel like that. But technically he did.
Right, and I feel like he has a way better season if they get that quarterback situation knitted up. And next year that guy's definitely on my radar. A kicker can't disappoint me. I don't know about you guys. I can't find a kicker.
Steve put that on there because of his name.
I did not. That was definitely Adam doing. That was Adam did that. I did not do that.
Okay.
Facts.
No, but my vote for this one was DeMarco Murray.
My vote was also
I was really high on him.
My vote was Amari Cooper.
Also a disappointment.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 4, right? No, so mid-wide receiver 3.
That's terrible, man. Like, that just hurts thinking about it. That high draft capital, third-year breakout, all that great stuff that we just thought. And he wasn't banged up or anything. He just was terrible this year.
He wasn't banged up for, like, the first 10 games or something like that, wasn't it? Then he had the concussion, right? And then the sprained ankle?
Yeah.
Did he? I guess I just got
he did.
from
He
him
missed
that I stopped
You stopped caring about him because of what he did during the fantasy season.
Right. Sorry about that, Sleepers.
He had one good game, and then I just watched him drop the first half of the season. I saw him get a lot of targets, but man, he just wasn't catching the ball this year. But yeah, my vote was also for DeMarco Murray because, gosh dang, he had the opportunity. But what happens to him in the future?
I don't even know if he's going to be a Titan next season.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Might be a backup.
I think they have him under contract one more year, right? Wasn't it a 3-year deal?
Yeah, he's got a lot of mileage.
Oh, for sure.
So I think you see Derrick Henry take over that offense either way. So that brings us to our winner, DeMarco Murray. You were the biggest disappointment. You were on a lot of my benches. I'm very, very disappointed with you, DeMarco Murray.
I was very, very sad. We had that great debate earlier this season that was DeMarco Murray. Oh, who was it? I think it was me and you.
Yeah.
Murray versus Ajayi, right?
Yeah, and they both just disappointed. I don't even know who was worse for you, to be honest. So, who finished worse? I mean,
I think Ajayi.
Flip a coin. I think DeMarco Murray was still actually a running back, too.
It was Ajayi.
Despite how terrible he was.
That 3-touchdown game didn't hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. 16, 17, 19. He was the RB20.
Yeah.
Not where you drafted him, but
No.
still the RB20. He was significantly ahead of Jay Ajayi, who looks closer to like the RB35-ish range.
Oh, terrible. What a bust.
Both of them.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray did not win you very many weeks, aside from that 1 week where he had 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown.
How is Ajayi not on this list instead of Lamar Miller?
Right.
Not sure. I think just DeMarco Murray, I felt was a bigger disappointment. Maybe because we were not high on Ajayi at all.
That's true. I guess. That is very true. SleeperWire as a crew was very low on Ajayi and high on DeMarco Murray. I think I was the only one high on Ajayi.
Yeah, there was no way I was going to take him in that debate.
All right, so the biggest disappointment was DeMarco Murray, and we talked a little bit about draft value, where you got your guys in the draft, and did they perform for you at that expected level. So we're going to go to the next Sleepy Award right now. It is the best draft value. Great value can emerge from later round draft picks, like the stock market. Buying these players low netted you an incredible return of investment. These are the players we love and the ones we often discuss. Our nominees, Professor Chris will give to you for best draft value.
Best draft value nominees: Adam Thielen, Todd Gurley, Kareem Hunt, and Josh Gordon. And I think we can throw out Josh Gordon because he wasn't drafted.
Right. That must have been
Here we have Thielen in the 9th, and that's 12-team PPR. Thielen in the 9th, Kareem Hunt and Todd Gurley both in the 2nd round. Hunt went as the 2nd round. It was 7th in the 2nd round, and Todd Gurley was the 8th pick in the 2nd round.
Insane.
So Gurley was actually drafted after Hunt.
That's insane.
There was a lot of leagues where I was even picking up Gurley in the 3rd. That guy was not on a lot of people's draft radars. But if you listen to our show, he was on your radar. And if you picked him up, man, you were happy. Man, you were happy with what Todd Gurley did this year. And especially towards the end of the season, he picked it up, even against tough rushing defenses.
Kareem Hunt was also great. I mean, if you were able to draft him before the hype that surrounded him with the Spencer Ware injury. If you drafted him, before then, you probably got him 8th round, 9th round. If you listened to us, maybe you snuck him in that 6th round. If you were crazy like me, you drafted him in 5th.
Yeah, Hus was the only one who was telling people to do that.
Yeah.
Don't say if you listen to us, because
if you listen to him.
I was being
we didn't as a group agree with that call, but turned out to be great.
Towards the beginning, once the hype with Ware going down, a lot of people were taking him in the 2nd round, so that's why Gurley went. And then the same thing with Adam not the same thing with Adam Thielen. He was kind of hyped coming into the season based off of how great he ended the previous season.
He was fantastic.
Yeah, he was just amazing, and I mean, he just continued on. He fizzled though, so I think that's probably why. I don't know. For me, he's a strong winner, but obviously this.
And you know what it is? He didn't show up in week 15
when
and
you
16.
needed him, right?
Right. He vanished in the playoffs, 3 for 30 and 2 for 24. But if we look at weeks 1 through 14, he has, 5 games under 10 points, but only 2 of them were under 9.
Right.
As opposed to 5 games over 20.
Yeah, I mean, he got you there. The yardage was there. Just towards the end of the season, I think everyone was just like, this is the dude. They were, triple teaming him, I guess, at one point. A guy couldn't find open, towards the end of the season. Definitely
the 4 touchdowns. He didn't catch his first one until week 8.
That too.
Certainly deserves to be on this list as a nominee, but the winner of Best Draft Value, Todd Gurley, the number 1 player in fantasy football this seation.
My God. What a beast.
19 touchdowns.
Oh, man.
How many quarterbacks threw 19 touchdowns? I'm gonna look at this real quick.
Probably not many. I mean, that's the thing about quarterbacks. You got your top ones, and then there's a huge drop off where guys just are not throwing touchdowns.
Deshaun Watson threw 19 touchdowns and played 7 games.
Wow.
Yeah, he was.
I would have never guessed Deshaun Watson.
6.5 games because he didn't play the first half in week 1, did he?
No, yeah, I think you're right about that.
That's phenomenal.
Most of them threw at least 18 touchdowns. That's all right. Anyways, let's move on.
All right, so your best draft value.
Really amazing.
Well, I have a feeling his name is going to come up later again. He was quite the player this year. So, Todd Gurley for your best draft value. And the other side of the draft coin, we've got the worst draft pick. These are the players who are drafted higher than their final statistics dictated. By fault of coaches, team structure, play calling, or injury, Prophet Hussein is going to give you the nominees and winners of the worst draft pick, the guys who let us down this year.
This saddens me to announce to you guys these nominees were highly coveted, much like the disappointments. It's going to kind of be a similar list. Nominees are Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Ezekiel Elliott, Jay Ajayi, Dez Bryant, Odell Beckham. Can we throw out Odell? I like to throw out the guys that got injured just based off of that's unpredictable.
Yeah, and I've got a couple things to say. My opinion about these players anyway. Not only can we throw out Odell, he doesn't need to be there because of the injury.
Right.
Julio Jones finished as the wide receiver 7. He was drafted as the wide receiver 2, but still finished as the wide receiver 7. So I don't necessarily think he deserves to be up here. Zeke, we knew about the suspension, still finished as the RB12, and he missed 6 games and was still an RB1.
That's insane.
So I don't think that's a bad draft pick either. I don't feel bad about people who drafted Jay Ajayi because we told them not.
We warned you.
This comes back to Dez and Evans for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Julio finished second in receiving yards with 1,444. I don't know how he ends up on this list. We obviously had someone that was maybe in California, had some good medicinal stuff. I don't know. Adam, maybe. I don't know. I know he lives there.
Who would you have rather had this year, Julio or Thielen?
Obviously Julio. For me, I mean, just because he still ended the season helping you win your championship.
Right. Yeah, that week 16, 7 for 149, that's pretty huge.
I think Odell Beckham can be on this list just simply because of the deception of the ankle injury that happened at the beginning of the season, right? Because, I mean, he was already nursing a bad ankle, and he just kind of had that one big game where he came out, but then he was just kind of a lame duck even when he was in for the beginning of the season, but then the injury happened where he was out, guaranteed out. But to me, I can see him being on the list. But to me, I also agree. I think Mike Evans and Dez Bryant are the two that really stick out here. And for me, it's Mike Evans. I mean, man, you drafted this guy thinking you've got the wide receiver 1 on Tampa Bay. You're thinking Tampa Bay has this high-octane offense. And like the Raiders, they were just way overhyped, and they came in and did not look like they should have. They had the talent. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, and I think it's pretty easy to look at Mike Evans as the winner of this because, he was just, saw that high touchdown. But then he's been doing this. It's kind of been a trend where he's put up high touchdowns and then he puts up a dud, for you. So maybe next year is a year.
Yes, so next year.
But then we got Chris Godwin to worry about, which looked pretty good toward, to end the season. The reason why I would kind of maybe not be so high on Evans as well next year, it's the same reason with Odell Beckham, is he has a good, pieces there as well. Now Odell has Ingram, Shepard still there. They're probably going to add another piece. Same thing with Evans. He was bad this year based off of all of those options they have around him. And I think they're probably still going to have a lot of options. So these are two guys that I guess I could see why Dirty Jobs wants to put Odell Beckham on this list, even though, he's still, when he came back, he put up 28 for you in the PPR, 2 touchdowns, 16. He had 7 for 90 week 4. Then he had 5 for 97 in a touchdown for 21 points against Chargers. So I don't know how you can put him on this list, but definitely towards next year, I'm definitely fading both guys. The winner is going to be, open up the envelope, Mike Evans, you were bad. You were bad this year. You dropped a lot of balls as well. It wasn't completely the talent around you. You were bad.
I will say this. You did show up in the fantasy playoffs, though.
You did. And a lot of people probably went away from you. If, people had that gut check and they listened to their gut, maybe they played you.
People who had Mike Evans weren't in the playoffs.
Right. More than likely.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure a lot of you did, but yeah, that's not a great first-round pick. 4th wide receiver drafted overall, wide receiver 17 is where he finished, as opposed to Dez, who was the 9th wide receiver overall and was the wide receiver 24.
Yeah.
So both certainly underperformed. I think I got to take Evans, though, because it was a first-round pick.
For sure.
So absolutely agree.
All right, Mike Evans is your worst draft pick this year, and if you had any of those guys, any of the nominees, and they let you down week to week, you had to hit the waiver wire. And how do you find gold on the waiver wire? Well, you look at trends, situation, depth charts, film, figure out who has the potential to pop and be a part of a championship team. And that's what we try to do here every week. So, Dirty Jobs will now present to you the nominees for Best Waiver Wire Pickup this year.
This year's Best Waiver Wire Pickup nominees are Robbie Anderson, Alvin Kamara, Carson Wentz, and Deshaun Watson. That is a list that I would be happy to have and probably be sitting happy with some championship belts on my waist there.
Or shoulder, or wherever you want to put them, because these guys were phenomenal for most part of the year. Granted, some of these guys had injuries or their quarterbacks got injured and just kind of crapped them.
Yeah, I think there's really only one true guy who belongs on this list, personally. Alvin Kamara, you most likely didn't find him on the waiver wire. Carson Wentz, most likely didn't find him on the waiver wire. Maybe after the first week, but he was still drafted in a good majority of leagues. He has a 12th round ADP.
And know what? I think I didn't vote on this. I think I would have voted for Alex Smith, but Deshaun Watson, obviously, for me, I think Deshaun Watson would be my winner. So I think I'd vote for Deshaun Watson. I don't think I put a vote out there for this one for some reason. I think I missed this one. I would have to vote for Deshaun Watson. I don't see how Carson Wentz. I drafted Carson Wentz in a ton of leagues.
I actually picked up Carson Wentz off quite a few waiver wires this year.
Okay. Yeah, he wasn't drafted as a QB1, so chances are, smaller leagues especially, he could have still been there. I went with Robbie Anderson, though, because he had that stretch during the middle of the season, starting in week 6 and going until week 13, where he was great every single week.
Wow.
He is a guy who was on waivers. He had a 13th round ADP, but after getting 6.2 points in the first game and then 4.8 in the second game, he was dropped in the majority of leagues.
See, and I feel like the same thing happened with Kamara. Like, he got out there and he just wasn't getting utilized with Adrian Peterson still involved with that offense. And I found him on a lot of waiver wires as a result. And then once you got him, boy, he lit it up. After Adrian Peterson left, he was a great ad. To me, all these guys are relevant. And Deshaun Watson is for certain somebody you picked up off the waiver wire. And, I mean, the time you had him was brief, but the time you had him was fantastic.
Yeah, and the time you had him is the only reason I am shying away from it.
Yep, I agree with that as the answer for this. Yep, he didn't stay.
Yeah, so actually, after deliberating about this, I think I would have to switch my vote to Robbie Anderson, especially looking at his numbers from week 6 on to week 13. He
dude was in the hammer.
Having a wide receiver 1 there.
Yeah,
I mean, he finished at 2. He finished 18th in the PPR, and
I think the only reason. Sorry, go ahead. I thought you were done.
No, I was saying that the only reason is with 14, 15, and 16, he had like close to single-digit games. That's the only reason why he probably didn't finish at 1, but he was amazing.
Well, and that's when Josh McCown got hurt, too.
Right. That's true, too, yeah.
Which didn't have anything to do with Robbie Anderson. Well, I mean, with his fantasy points, but that wasn't Robbie Anderson sucking by any means. He still finished as a wide receiver 18 for a guy who was on almost every waiver wire and put up huge numbers consistently for, 8 straight games?
Yeah, just amazing.
7 straight games. Yeah, just great. So, who's our winner here?
Our winner here for best waiver wire pickup is Robbie Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because the answer says Carson Wentz in my notes, but we 3 are running this show, so it's Carson Wentz, or it's Robbie Anderson because all 3 of us agree on that. The guy was just such a monster ad.
I like that, Dirty Jobs. Thank you for doing that.
we did some vetoing on the air.
I'm glad I talked you guys into that one.
Yeah, that was great. Good job, Perf.
So Robbie Anderson is your best waiver wire pickup with a surprising win right there with the 3 live votes over the 2 votes for Carson Wentz. Robbie Anderson, best waiver wire pickup of the year. Congratulations on your first, I believe that's his first ever Sleepy Award. All right, let's move on to the next award, the best rookie of the year. Rookies perhaps face the most challenges adjusting to the pro game. They are notoriously hard to predict in fantasy. Each year, a few outstanding athletes excel in the league by talent, system, or opportunity. And Professor Chris is going to give us the nominees and winner for the Fantasy Rookie of the Year.
Your best rookie this season for fantasy football. Nominees are Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, Kareem Hunt, and Deshaun Watson. So, we've talked about Kamara plenty, but someone who I think a lot of people have forgotten about is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, that guy was a monster. If you had him on your team, he was doing the job that McKinnon and Pete and Murray were doing for you at the end of the season. He was doing that job all by himself. To me, that guy is forgotten, but not for next year.
Definitely not, especially with McKinnon being a free agent. I know there's been some murmurs about them letting go of Latavius. I highly doubt that. He's been amazing. I see the same kind of scenario how they had, last year with McKinnon and Dalvin Cook. I don't know if Dalvin Cook is going to get the job all by himself next year, the way he started the season. I mean, Latavius was supposed to have the starting job. He had that ankle injury. He was banged up. He had an amazing year. I don't know how he's not walking home with any sleepies, but, he wasn't nominated. But Dalvin Cook, yeah, he was just amazing for you. He had, 19 points for you in a PPR, 22 carries week 1. Week 2, he did it for you. He only had 12 carries. I don't know what went wrong there. Probably the game script. And then against Tampa Bay, 27 carries, 27.8. And then against Detroit, even though he had 13 carries, he still had 12.4. I think that's the game he got injured. Dalvin Cook was amazing.
Which game was it where Sam Bradford went down? Was that game 2? Was that week 2?
Game 1, actually.
Week 1. Yep.
Week 1.
Week 1, okay.
At the end of the game.
I gotcha. So Dalvin Cook, yeah, he was great. I have no qualms about him next season. I think he's going to be a good value because I think people are going to be on the McKinnon and Murray. They're still there, 3-headed monster thing, but I think this is clearly Dalvin Cook's job.
Yep, I agree with that. And I'd also like to give a quick shout-out to the rookies this year. Man, what a great rookie class it was. I mean, there was a lot of guys that really just came right into the NFL with a fire lit under their butt, and they just did what they needed to do to get the job done. I think, so a couple honorable mentions might be Leonard Fournette, Joe Mixon, although they didn't bring it as hard as these other guys did. Those guys still had some really great rookie seasons.
4 rookie running backs finished as an RB1 this year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep, we got Kamara, Hunt, Fournette, and McCaffrey.
What do you guys think that's attributed to? Off just the talent, or do you think? I mean, we see trends based off the coaches every year, like a trend towards tight ends. Tight ends seem to be more useful, I think. More passes. You know, they like to throw more. Now is it a trend towards, hey, let's just give our running back a ton of work. We're not paying them much. If they get injured, whatever, we have depth behind us. What is it, or is it just the talent?
I think it was just a really good, talented year. Like, I don't think we'll see a repeat of this next season. There hasn't been a lot of running backs anyways that stick out like these guys did. I
mean, we had Zeke Howard the year before. Maybe even some other guys that we forgot about. You know, even Alex Smith had a great year.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, get out of here.
So, anyways, our winner here, Kareem Hunt.
Woo whoop, my boy. Sorry, I had to dial down the excitement.
Man, Kareem Hunt would have had such a great season if Andy Reid wasn't the coach. That's the one thing that, like, really got me down on Kareem is that for some reason Andy Reid just kept running away from running the ball. Like, I don't understand. Hopefully that's what cost him his job.
Yeah, I would like to see Kareem Hunt get so much work, but maybe they just didn't want to get the guy injured. Maybe they're just managing him. And I mean, he remained healthy all year. So, I mean, he still, you know, he crapped you if you played him week 17. But other than that, in your championship game, he still gave you 20 points.
Oh, especially in your playoffs. I think Andy Reid listened to a lot of people. 25 carries, 24 carries, 29 carries, 3 catches, 7 catches, 4 catches. I mean, he was getting the work. He was a superstar in the playoffs and probably the second highest scorer after Todd Gurley.
Yeah, he was just a beast. I mean,
maybe Lev Bell too. He showed up.
Remember when we heard the guy that traded Kareem Hunt for Adrian Peterson?
Oh man, that killed me, and that was such a terrible.
I remember there was a couple weeks there though where I was like, man, that guy might have been onto something. Kareem Hunt just had that bad stretch where he just wasn't productive at all, and by no fault of his own. Like, that was the games that Kansas City was losing as well. I mean, it was insane how Andy Reid just devastated that team by not sticking with the status quo. That team came out so hot, on fire. They should have probably went undefeated if they would have went with the same game plan, same game strategy. But I don't know what it is about Andy Reid. He just finds a way to screw it up.
Yeah, AP was just terrible for you. I mean, after he traded for that guy, after his 27-point game, he gave him 4.3 the following week. Then he had his bye, and then he had 37 attempts. He had that 37 attempts.
Yeah.
Just like 19.7 in the PPR. So even with that 37 attempts, he still wasn't that stellar, and then the rest of the year, you couldn't start him.
Real quick, I want to throw a piece of trivia in here. Not related to rookies this time. Maybe a few seasons ago we could have done it. Melvin Gordon. I was just looking at his stats while I was listening to you guys talk. How many single-digit games did he have?
2.
Single digit?
Single digit, below 10.
3.
It was 3.
Ooh.
Beast of a season 2.
Yeah, he did great. You were really high on him preseason too.
Austin Eckler, though, definitely took away from him towards the end of the season.
I would say in the middle of the season he did.
Yeah,
really towards the end.
Yeah,
there was a 3-game stretch where we had 10 carries, 6 carries, 6 carries, but he had 7 one other game back in week 7. But after that, 4-4-2-0-0. I guess.
Well, he got injured too. He was out for the rest of the season, but I'm sure a lot of Gordon fans was like, yes, Eckler's out, because he was still in receptions, he was still in carries. And I think also they were just thinking about the future. Maybe they're thinking like Andy Reid. They're like, okay, well, we're going to make the playoffs. I don't know how that happened. The Titans got in there, but they were thinking they were going to make the playoffs and maybe just preserving him, but it didn't work out.
Okay, and so your best rookie, your sleeper for best rookie of the year is Kareem Hunt. The next award is for the best championship performance. It's a game of inches, both on the field and in fantasy. When it's all on the line and the championship is at stake, some men emerge as heroes. These are the players who help you garner a fantasy championship this year, and I'm going to let Prophet Hussein give you the nominees and winner of the best championship performance.
All right, these super performers, the guys that lined your pockets with some cash, the guys that did it for you. Nominees are Gurley, of course, with that 49-point performance. Depending on if you were in bonus leagues, you got like 50-something. It's pretty sweet. C.J. Anderson, like 28 points. Dion Lewis with 35. And then Blake Bortles, surprisingly on this list, but he made his way. He made his way down. He had about 25 points against San Fran in your championship game. If you played him, he's pretty impressive. Anything to say about these guys? These fine gents that...
There's only one answer.
Some other fine gents.
Yeah, I agree. The man that did it all, that crushed me in my championship.
If you survived...
Todd Gurley.
Yeah, if you survived his performance, hats off to you. You're probably your name is probably Curtis. If you survived,
or Professor Chris,
or Professor. Oh yeah,
won a championship against Gurley.
Just
against
off your shoulder there, Professor Chris.
Yeah, well,
and our winner is, of course, Gurley. Todd Gurley.
22 for 118, 10 for 158 and 2. I mean, come on,
Jesus.
Yeah, you can't touch that.
It's only fitting that he capped off his insane season with his 2 highest scores, 45 points in Week 15 at Seattle and 49.6 at Tennessee in Week 16.
So, 2 fantastic rushing defense.
Yes. And in Week 14, he was at Philly, or played Philly. Still 2 touchdowns.
Oh, and he didn't play in Week 17. So sorry if you guys played in Week 17 championship game. Yell at your commissioner for that.
I did. I was very bummed. I've already talked to them. It was a friends league I joined. I don't think they knew what they were doing when they were setting it up. I mean, it's been a couple of years, but I don't think they pay attention to that little detail. So I didn't have Gurley in the championship, and I lost.
In one of the leagues I'm in, it actually took the commissioner making it to the championship and losing in Week 17 because he had really just a stacked team. And so he had to pick up the nonsense against me last year. And, I mean, I was ready for it. I'm like, gosh, I hate Week 17, but I know who's still playing. And was able to adapt to that. And, I mean, he just had to sit so many great people. And I laughed, and then he changed the rule.
Yeah, there's no one you can take aside from Todd Gurley here.
Absolutely not.
If you played him, you probably won. If you played against him, you probably didn't. But, hey, maybe you got lucky.
Yeah.
All right, so Best Championship Performance 2017 Sleepy Award goes to Todd Gurley. Let's go We'll jump to another performance award now. This is Performance of the Year. Men playing in the NFL are elite athletes, but yet they are humans. On occasion, however, a mere mortal will enter the zone and perform like a fantasy god. The pantheon of fantasy dominance welcomes these nominees. This year, Dirty Jobs will give us the nominees and winner for Performance of the Year.
Man, there's just so many good names on this list. We got Todd Gurley at Week 15, 152 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns, and then 3 for 3 for 28 more yards and another touchdown. That's 4 touchdowns.
Amazing.
That's like 1,000 points in PPR, I think.
1,000 points.
And then Kareem Hunt in Week 1. He went 148 rushing with a touchdown, 5 for 5 for 98 with 2 touchdowns. That's like another 950 right there. I mean, the guy's just racking points up for you, winning weeks. And the final man is Dak Prescott in Week 14. He went 20 for 30 for 332 yards and 3 touchdowns. On a week, everybody had really just kind of started counting him out. So, to me, man, all 3 of these guys, they won you weeks. I guarantee it. You didn't lose if you had these guys playing. But 4 touchdowns, woo.
Yeah, fantasy-wise, Todd Gurley, 4 touchdowns. That was my nominee. But to watch, personally, Kareem Hunt as a rookie in his very first game, as the Chiefs destroy the Patriots, I absolutely loved it.
It was so sweet.
I know. It was beautiful.
Especially after that fumble. I thought I felt so bad. I was just like, man, I let the sleepers down. I will hype them up all season. He got that fumble. They're going to sit him on the bench. No. He went off. He was such a beast for you. Oh, my God, Todd Gurley. Sorry, Kareem Hunt. He was just amazing. Yeah, I love him. I love you, Kareem Hunt. Big Reem on Instagram, as they like to call him.
There was definitely a lot of redemption there for the people that were high on him. I, however, was not one of those people, and I was actually chuckling when he fumbled. I was like, see, rookie. And then he just goes off and has this massive performance. But for me, Todd Gurley did it when you needed him to do it. Week 15 at Seattle, that is the toughest place to score points, and he just put them up in bunches.
Yeah, he was, that guy just walks away with so many sleepies this year. I would say a guy that, I think this is another one, I don't know what happened, but I think I missed a certain part of it. I think I would have put Keenan Allen in this one in week 13. He went off. Was it week 13? Sorry, it wasn't week 13. It was, week? He had like 40 points. I want to say it was week 13.
40.2 against Buffalo.
Yeah.
11.
Yeah, he was just amazing.
That's when he broke out.
Yeah, he had that 12 receptions, 159 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's when he went on his tear to help you get to the playoffs, and they kind of didn't help you while he was there.
Yeah, he set some kind of, or tied a record maybe with 3 consecutive games with at least 10 catches, at least 100 yards, and at least 1 touchdown.
Yeah, the guy was just amazing this year, especially how so many people slept on him. I'm glad I had him on so many teams, but man, Todd Gurley, man, he's walking away with all the sleepies this year. I mean, he deserves them. The guy was amazing this year.
He's our sleepiest player.
Speaking of, performance of the year goes to Todd Gurley.
As it should. 4 touchdowns, man.
Yep.
4 touchdowns.
Come on.
That's like 1,000 points. I'm not exaggerating.
That should equate, like, if you get 4 touchdowns, that should be 1,000-point bonus.
Right.
like you win.
You win no matter what.
You win no matter what.
Auto win. Mercy rule.
You
right?
just broke fantasy.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Todd Gurley. Another Sleepy Award. Performance of the year. He's going to have to get a whole new trophy case for all the awards he's getting today. I want to move on to a new category this year. This is called Listener of the Year. Now, the listeners and fans are the lifeblood of the SleeperWire. Without you all, we're just some random guys talking into a void. But this year, we wanted to recognize a few exceptional listeners who were instrumental to our success and who were just, always listening, tuning in, calling in, and being a part of the show, which makes it so much fun for us. So, Professor Chris is going to give us the nominees and winner of Listener of the Year.
Our nominees for Listener of the Year. First off, we have Wilson27, whose name is Ricky Wilson, is Wilson27 on SleeperBot. Curtis from Florida, who called into the show, was it every single week during the Sunday Blitz?
Twice a week. He called in on Wednesday Mailsack, too.
Wednesday and Mailsack, awesome. George Reed, who is Gio from the Break from the Grind podcast. Will Yard, who did a Blitz with us. Brady's a Bitch, who is my personal favorite username I've ever seen. Nicholas Miller, who hit us up through email frequently. Fogg from Twitter, and Aaron Soul as well. And I'm sure we are leaving some out, and if you expected to hear your name in here, I am sorry. There's just so many of you guys, we couldn't include everyone.
We love you, all of you guys, our nominees. You guys are amazing. We definitely wouldn't be, just as Chris was alluding to, we wouldn't be the show. Steve was alluding to, as the announcer, we wouldn't be the show without you guys. Wilson, you're amazing. Curtis, you're amazing. George, Williard, you guys helped us out. Brady's a bitch. Nick, Brick Paul, Fogg, you killed it in all of our leagues. You're in many of our leagues. Fogg, you killed it in most of our leagues. Saul, you're the champion of our of the Pro-Am. So hats off
Pro-Am champ.
And our one, and I actually forget that we were supposed to see who was the highest scorer of the NFC and the AFC to see who was the total Pro-Am winner. So can we figure that out while we're on air to see who was that winner? Steve, do you have that up? I can give you the score.
Yeah, do you have access to the AFC team?
I have access to both. Let me check. So you're talking about like the final week or total score overall?
Week 16. So whatever the top scorer was from week 16 from the championship game. So Saul was our champion.
He had 96.5.
Yep.
Eat Sleep Fantasy for ours got. It's coming. Let's see.
Do.
113.
I'm guessing Eat Sleep was the winner.
113.4. Yeah, 113.4.
113.4. Wow, what a was a low-scoring championship game. But I guess congratulations to Eat Sleep. You guys are amazing. Always on it. The other independent podcast that just does kick ass every year, Eat Sleep, is amazing. Glad to have them a part of the Pro-Am. And we digress because we were talking about listeners, but we just wanted to shout everybody out in the listener of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's hard to pick just one of you guys because you are so amazing, but we went with Curtis because he called and bugged us every single time we were live. And he won a lot of championships, so good for him.
Jeez, Curtis never bugged us. Curtis,
no, I know.
Curtis made the show. Curtis made
was a
my
joy.
weeks.
That's
Every
week.
In fact, if Curtis didn't call, I started to get worried.
Not
I'm
only
like,
you,
Curtis, where are you, buddy?
not only you, but this is the thing. The listeners were worried. I'm back here running the board during the shows, and I got the chat open on the Mixler, and I got people like Nick Miller and Fogg asking me, "Hey, where's Curtis today? Did Curtis call in yet?" Like
Did that
the
seriously
listeners,
happen?
yes, they were concerned. And then when he would call in, they'd be like, "Curtis!" I mean, they would type out literally "Curtis" in all caps and exclamation points. He became
That
a part
is
of the
fucking
show
funny.
just from his participation. So. Congratulations, good win on it. It's like your 10th award now because he went 9 for 9 in his championships. The dude had a huge year, so a little cherry on top.
Are we sure Todd Gurley doesn't win that one too?
Listener of the
I know, right? Because
Listener of the year, because he listened at the beginning of the season and he's like, you know what, guys? I'm not going to let you down.
Yeah, he had him on so many teams. Curtis, if you're listening to the show, I'm pretty sure you are. Send us your information so we can send you like a SleeperWire tee. SleeperWire. We'll send you some good stuff, man.
And you owe us a picture with all your trophies and bling.
SleeperWire condoms.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right, congratulations, Curtis. You are listener of the year. And finally, we're going to do a very quick final award, final Sleepy. Maybe you already know who won this, but it is the MVP of the year, Prophet Hussein. This is no nominees for this one. Everybody just got together and voted. Who is the MVP of the year?
And I'm actually going to bounce this back at you, Steve, because I feel like you're our MVP of SleeperWire. So I'm going to bounce this back to you so you can announce it.
Most
I get to
valuable
do-
producer.
I get to do this one. All right. Well, it's just no surprise if you've been listening to the show. The man's been running away with trophies galore, just like he ran away with fantasy points and touchdowns for you this year. The most valuable player in fantasy this football season, 2017, is Todd Gurley. Congratulations, sir. You are officially, we're going to put your picture up on the office wall over here at the SleeperWire Studios. You've earned a spot.
Why don't you come in and come on a show?
Yeah. Well,
That would be kick-ass.
Anytime. By phone, in person, however you want to do it, Mr. Gurley. We'd love to pick your brain about football or just
I'm going
whatever
to DM
else.
you my cell number. Text me.
That might be creepy.
All right, and with that, our ceremony comes to a close. I'd like to thank our presenters tonight, Professor Chris, Dirty Jobs Mike, and Prophet Hussein, and most importantly, you, the fans and listeners.
A special thanks out there to all those listeners. You made my first year a very memorable one.
Special shout out to the runner-up MVP of SleeperWire. That's Dirty Jobs.
And screw you guys.
All right, guys, we got to run. There's an after party over there, and we're going to run to that now. So thanks again for tuning into the 2017 SleeperWire Awards Show, The Sleepies, and we'll catch you next week. We'll be doing podcasts all throughout the off season. Thanks for tuning in. That's where you say peace.
Peace.
Night.